So with the 8th overall pick, Rob Dillingham was selected by the San Antonio Spurs, but he was immediately traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves in a deal that, could bode well for both sides. Instant reaction before we get into what both sides got compensated with. I just think it's funny that Tim Conley, the guy who drafted Bones Highland, a guy who likes his undersized two guards, goes ahead and gets a guy who I guess is going to be a rookie who he expects to be a day one contributor off the bench. While I know Bones Highland's best season was his rookie year, however, San Antonio over here, what would they do? So Minnesota is allegedly only giving up the 2031 unprotected first and a protected 2030 pick swap for Dillingham. Now, some might say you basically already have a almost bare draft cupboard. Now you've made that draft cupboard completely bare. You're getting close to that Phoenix Suns territory basically with this trade. Now again, if we're going off of the Bones Highland comparison in terms of an impact we could expect a first-year player like Rob Dillingham, Bones Highland in his best season, I guess technically his second season in those 42 games that he did play for the Nuggets, but either way, in those 2 years, he was basically an 11 point per game scorer at 40%, 36.5% from three, 2.5 rebounds, about 3 assists a night. Is that going to be a guy who's going to help you win a championship? Did Bones Highland help the Denver Nuggets win a championship? I think not. So, I think it's an interesting move. I mean, Minnesota needed off the bench help. Were they going to find off the bench help like Rob Dillingham in free agency? I think Lonnie Walker might have helped you there, but first off, I think San Antonio, this is a good move for them because why take this pick? But for me, I just think it's interesting from a Minnesota standpoint because is it really worth it? Time will tell, but I think, again, I don't think Minnesota took a huge risk. Again, they're getting themselves a guard they believe is going to make an impact right now rather than, I guess, going after somebody in free agency that they can't afford. However, I still think it's just kind of a short-sighted move because there were veteran minimum options that you could have maybe done as a bargain bin signing. That's my 2 cents on that one. But again, if I'm San Antonio, I think I take that deal 10 out of 10 times because the assets that you got from it could, in 8 years, 7 years, whatever it may be a really, really worth it. Like the T-Wolves, hopefully, they hope that they're good this long, but what if they're not? And now you have their 2030 pick swap and their 2030 first pick. I mean, I expect them as long as you have Anthony Edwards to be that good. So that's it, my 2 cents. Let me hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think? And if you guys would have done this deal. I think it's an interesting one, definitely to say the least, and how it came to be. I think it's the Timberwolves knowing that they're not going to have a lot of cap space, so they want a guy on a cheap rookie contract that can be a sixth man for them as they lacked bench scoring over not this last season, while the San Antonio Spurs didn't care for the pick and they get some compensation for it.